named Leonard Crumbly who believed two things with absolute certainty. 1. Pigeons were judging him. 2. Soup was just hot cereal with confidence. Nobody in the town of Butterwick respected Leonard's opinions, mostly because he shared them constantly. He shared them at the grocery store. He shared them at weddings. He once interrupted a funeral to explain why chicken noodle is basically oat stew. The widow had slapped him with a bread roll. Still, Leonard carried on. Every morning he marched to the town square wearing the same brown trench coat that smelled faintly of onions and mystery. He'd point dramatically at pigeons and whisper, "You see how they walk? That's mockery." People avoided eye contact. Children feared him slightly. Dogs distrusted him completely. The only person who tolerated Leonard was his neighbour, Mrs. Grelder Pumpernickel, an 89-year-old woman who looked like a disappointed eagle. She spent most of her day watering dead plants and threatening squirrels with a rake. One Tuesday morning, Leonard burst into her yard holding a toaster above his head. "I have done it," he announced. Mrs. Pumpernickel narrowed her eyes. "If you've invented another dangerous sandwich, I'm calling the authorities." "It's not a sandwich, it's a system." "That's worse." Leonard placed the toaster carefully on her garden table. "You know how normal people use toasters for bread?" "Yes. Well, that's exactly why they'll never evolve." Mrs. Pumpernickel sighed, the sigh of someone whose life had taken a terrible turn decades ago. Leonard leaned closer. "This toaster," he whispered, "can print documents." Silence. A crow screamed in the distance. Mrs. Pumpernickel blinked once. "What?" Leonard slapped the toaster proudly. "Observe." He inserted a slice of bread into slot A. Then he inserted a piece of paper into slot B, which was clearly just the side of the toaster he had attacked with scissors. Sparks exploded instantly. The toaster made a noise like a goat falling downstairs. Smoke filled the yard. Then, miraculously, a burned piece of paper popped out. Mrs. Pumpernickel picked it up carefully. On the page, in blackened letters, were the words, "Hello." She stared at Leonard. Leonard stared back triumphantly. The toaster burst into flames. Mrs. Pumpernickel hit it with the rake. "This," Leonard shouted over the fire, "is the future of office supplies." Within a week, Leonard became accidentally famous. This happened because Gerald Bibblesworth, a local newspaper intern and part-time magician's assistant, witnessed the flaming toaster incident while delivering coupons. Gerald took a blurry photograph. The next morning, the Butterwick Gazette printed the headline, "Local Man Invents Bread Fax Machine." Underneath was a terrible photo of Leonard mid-cough while the toaster emitted what looked like a demon spirit. The article described Leonard as an inventor, philosopher, and possible electrical criminal. By noon, reporters arrived from neighbouring towns. By evening, Leonard had investors. Now, these investors were not intelligent people. One was a man named Clive, who had lost 3 fingers attempting to invent edible shampoo. Another claimed to communicate with dolphins through mayonnaise. The third was simply a raccoon wearing a tiny vest who wandered into the meeting unnoticed. Still, together they gave Leonard $40,000. Nobody remembers why. Things escalated quickly. Leonard rented an abandoned mattress warehouse and renamed it Crumbly Industries. Tomorrow, today, eventually. He hired employees using bizarre interview questions. "What's your greatest weakness?" "I'm impatient." "Excellent. Can you fight a goose?" One applicant answered yes. He became vice president immediately. The company grew. Nobody understood what the company did. The official mission statement was revolutionizing heat-based communication solutions for a bread-adjacent future. Employees nodded like this made sense. It did not. Leonard unveiled invention after invention. There was the sock blender, the waterproof sponge, a chair that screamed when sat on, boneless bananas, wireless extension cords, diet water, a hat that held soup. The hat caused 3 injuries. Shockingly, the public loved him. People lined up for blocks to buy his nonsense. One woman bought 7 screaming chairs because she said they made Thanksgiving more honest. Meanwhile, Leonard's hatred of pigeons intensified. He became convinced they were spies. He held meetings about them. He drew diagrams. He once cornered a pigeon near a bakery and shouted, "Who do you work for?" The pigeon stole half his croissant and flew away. "Typical," Leonard muttered darkly. Then came the disaster. Every great fool eventually experiences a moment where confidence and stupidity combine into something catastrophic. For Leonard, this moment was the Grand Technology Expo in the capital city. Thousands gathered to witness the world's newest inventions. Scientists arrived from everywhere. Real scientists, people with degrees, people who used phrases like quantum efficiency. Leonard arrived wearing ski goggles and a velvet cape. Behind him rolled his greatest creation, the bread net. There was once a man named Leonard Crumbly who believed two things with absolute certainty. One, pigeons were judging him. Two, soup was just hot cereal with confidence.